My name is John McKeon. I'm the moderator for the Teradata River, and today we have with us Scott Bedbury. He is a practitioner, thought leader, author. He actually did some incredible work with Nike and Starbucks, and he'll be keynoting at the Aprimo Summit in Las Vegas in February. Scott, welcome to the Teradata Aprimo River.
Thanks for having me on.
Scott, you just came off an incredible run with Nike and Starbucks. Let's just start with that. What are some of the key learnings that came out of the Nike work?
Well, I think the Nike experience was profound for me in several ways as a marketing guy that did the packaged goods piece and then did the agency piece, client service actually, and then ended up at Nike as the head of advertising. Interestingly, I was coached not to use the words marketing or research in my interview, and I found that rather profound coming from an Ogilvy affiliate. And later, when I asked Knight what that was about, he said that marketing is what the other companies do. I have no interest in doing that. It was a company very driven by instinct, by intuition, and the idea of asking consumers to tell us what to do was pretty much off the table. And I think as you study people like Steve Jobs, too, you'll see the very same thing, particularly in the biography that was just released. So I think Nike was a lot about just doing things differently and looking to the future and not giving consumers exactly what they want and continually innovating. So it had a culture that was all about that. Incremental transformation or incremental change was never good enough. We were looking for things and processes that no one had tried before. And that went all the way through marketing and product design and development.
Scott, I think it's probably one thing to work for Nike with huge resources. You also did some incredible work at Starbucks. What was it like working with an organization with a smaller marketing budget and a different culture?
Well, I think Starbucks was personally or selfishly for me, it was something that I took on as a challenge, to leave behind what really was about $150 million in media worldwide at Nike. And frankly, probably a worldwide marketing budget of $700 or $800 million to join a small company that had enormous potential with a marketing budget of about $2.5 million. I think half of that was the overhead for my department. But I took that on as a challenge because Nike was many things. And save for the Nike towns that we built while I was there, I think we built the first 6 or 7 before I left. I really had never had the opportunity to build a brand on the front lines in the way that you can with a retailer or a restaurant company or a platform like Starbucks. So I think that was very attractive to me, which was to build a brand, one person, one cup, one community at a time, but to do it with a strong sense of how do you unleash a great brand experience among minimum wage employees that are 16, 17, 18, 19 years of age. And I think in hindsight, we did a very good job of that. And I think it helped me personally balance out my own sort of skill sets, if you will, and try to figure out how to build a brand without the crutch of mass media.
Well, Scott, those are great names, but I think the world is changing so fast. You're currently CEO of Brandstream. You've written a book, A New Brand World. There's a lot of things going on that are actually being pushed by social media. What is your take on social media, and what are some things that we need to think about?
I think there's a lot. We look back at everything that we've been talking about, saying about it. We can probably count on 2 hands the number of internet companies with revenues of more than $250 million. I think that's probably a fair assessment. And I think a lot of us look to some of the social media platforms, particularly like Facebook, and see what we think is sort of a completely new order. And I think it has profoundly affected things like marketing. But unfortunately, I think it has also provided a bit of a distraction for companies from also doing those things that are actually perhaps even more important. And that's determining if they have the right products, the right services, if they're as relevant as they can possibly be, if they have integrity in all the right places, if all their touch points are as strong as they can be. And perhaps on the most macro of levels, if they have the right people, if they've developed the right internal culture. So the products and services, the decisions they do make, whether it's on social media or traditional media or promotions or any of the other disciplines from HR to sales, finance, production, supply chain operations, are they actually unleashing the human potential of the organization? Because I think in the end, we'll see that social media is a tremendously powerful tool, a tremendously fresh opportunity to get closer to consumers, get closer to trends. And I think we're probably in chapter 2 of a 10-chapter book on how the web, particularly in an interconnected, highly mobile platform that we see today, can change the way we think about business. But I think sometimes it can distract us from some of these core requirements that I think all brands must have.
Scott Bedbury, he is delivering the keynote at the Aprimo Marketing Summit in February in Las Vegas, and it should be really compelling. Look forward to great stories from Nike, Starbucks, and from the work he's doing now with his Brand Stream company. Scott, thank you very much.